Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Akumakon 2015. I'll be your host, Tom Garvan, and joining me today is a man of many voices, all the way from the States, Spike Spencer. Spike, you're very welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much for having me, my friend.
So, what are you looking forward to about Akumakon 2015?
Surviving.
I do understand you had a bit of a turbulent journey here.
Oh, dear Lord. That was incredible. We flew in from Edinburgh, and it was during the. Apparently, you guys named the storm. It was like Storm Rachel or something. It was.
Not sure.
I just read it in one of the newspapers here. But that crazy storm that just happened, and we flew over in the middle of it. So we were flying in to Dublin, and oh boy, we came in. They made one approach. Horrible, bumpy, crazy, back and round about 10 times, and then they diverted to Belfast. And that was the bumpiest flight I've ever had. And I've been all over the world. Oh, God, that was scary. So I'm just happy to be alive and here. Hello.
You had a bumpy flight, and then you get to have the nice bumpy potholes of Irish roads.
Well, they're those, but we're from L.A., so we know our potholes.
So, what are the main things you're looking forward to?
Well, this is part of our honeymoon. Actually, we got married in October. Went to Italy for a month and back home for Christmas and everything. And then there were these cons. There was a Digicon in England, and now Akumakon here. So we made it a big trip. So this is honeymoon part 2. Oh well, I introduce everybody to my lovely wife, Kimberly Spencer. Now
You're very welcome.
formerly Mackenzie.
Oh.
Proud Scottish woman.
So you're making kind of a honeymoon out of these convention kind of going to?
Absolutely. I mean,
is it something you both are interested in, or?
Well, I can't speak for her, but she does like to travel for sure. I know that much.
I love the travel, and I'm just getting into voiceover as well.
Oh.
So that's very exciting.
But
And she's very good, by the way.
He would pimp me out if
I would
if
not
wasn't.
pimp you out if you weren't dang. What can we say here?
He's not biased in any way.
what else are you guys going to be doing? You're not just here for a Akumakon. Are there sites you're going to be seeing?
No, I mean, we already we did Digicon, and then we went to Edinburgh for 3 days.
Okay.
And so we roamed the Royal Mile and had a wonderful time there. And we flew over here, had so much excitement. And the road trip, and I'm driving around Ireland, so if anyone's listening to this and they're on the roads, get out of my way for your own good. And
He's driving very slow on the opposite side for us of the road.
I'm like a granny. Oh, get out of my way! We're going from here to while we're here, I think we're going to be horseback riding on a beach.
That was one of my goals in Ireland. I've always wanted to horseback ride on a beach with my cape.
Where is that?
Apparently it's not too far
right
away.
out of Galway.
Salt Hill, something on that beach over there. Apparently they do that over there. And
Even during off season, which I was surprised.
Yeah. We think. We're not sure yet. We're going to check it out. We may have just done a commercial with them. Fantastic. But then we're heading out of here. We're going to Killarney, Ring of Kerry, Cork, roaming around there, then up to Glendalough area, and then back to Dublin, and then over to Manchester for one night and go, oh, hello, Manchester, and then home.
So if we go back to voice acting, that
Absolutely.
is your thing. How did you originally get into it?
I've been an actor for a very long time. I went to college 87 for acting, and that's when I started doing things. But I didn't really get into anime and animation and all that. I was always doing funny voices. But it was actually Amanda Wynn Lee who got me involved because we were doing a live action film. And then we were just, cutting up around offset and just being silly. And she's like, you do all these great voices. You should come check this anime stuff out. And I said, anime? What's that? And she's like, well, it's Japanese animation. I said, it's like cartoons? She goes, not really. I said, okay, well, whatever it is, does it pay? She said, yes. I said, I'm there because I'm a whore. I'm an actor. That's what we do. And we had a great time. I went over to ADV in Houston. This is all happening in Houston, by the way, in Houston, Texas. And ADV was a big dubbing center then. years ago. So I went on audition for Super Atragon was the first one I auditioned for, and I got that. It was a small little part. Then we did 2 or 3 more, I think, and then Evangelion came around, and so that was the big one. And we had no idea it was going to be big. I mean, it was an acting role. It was a tough role. I mean, Shinji is so not like me, as you can tell. But you can see me, and you've met me at this point in time. And you're like, yeah, he's not like Shinji at all. But it was
especially when you get that deep, sexy voice.
That's right, from traveling, and I am.
And good old Irish Guinness.
I've had a Guinness or 2. It's fine. Don't worry. Everything's great. The Scotch in Edinburgh was fantastic. But anyway, so that's how it started, and so we did a lot of animation there, and then I moved to L.A. And some different things happened, more video games, and it's just kind of taken off from there. And I've got a Nickelodeon. Do you guys have Nickelodeon in Ireland?
We do.
Oh, okay. We have a series on Nickelodeon called Get Blake, which is coming out in the next, hopefully, month or 2. And very funny. And I'm one of the leads in that. I'm one of the lead kids. With Get Blake, it's great because there are 2 kids who are... Blake is going to be a space ranger, and his buddy Mitch is his pal. And these aliens come from the future because they know he's going to be a space ranger and he's going to destroy them or beat them or whatever. And so they come back in time to get him while he's a kid. And so they have all these crazy things where they're running away from the aliens. And by the way, the aliens are squirrels. So these space alien squirrels are after Blake. And I'm Mitch, his buddy. It's like, okay, Blake, that's awesome. Let's go get those squirrels. And I need to rest. So it's very funny.
It was very funny. I was able to attend the wrap party. Spike was actually in Dallas recording a little bit of Evangelion. And so I went in his stead, and it was quite funny.
She tells me it's awesome.
It was awesome, and it wasn't even in color.
That's right.
You're saying with Evangelion, no one knew it would take off so well. What was it like when it did? Because that was 1996. It was one of your first major.
Yeah, I mean, well, for me, it's funny. A lot of people don't realize that anime is ADV. It's automated dialogue. I mean, sorry, ADR, automated dialogue replacement or additional dialogue recording, depending on how you say it. And it's dubbing. You know, that's it. It's just dubbing, but it's the hardest voiceover job there is, and it pays the least. So when it came out, it's great that I got to, I got some, a little bit of notoriety, and but nothing, crazy, except that I get invited to conventions from time to time, which is fantastic, and I love it. So we get to talk about Evangelion and all of that. And fortunately, the rebuild, 1.11 and 2.22 and now 3.33 that everybody's waiting on. I'm sorry, folks, I don't know when it's coming out.
But he did see it at New York Comic Con.
That's right. We played it. Yeah, we played it
really
at New York Comic Con last year, not 14, 13. We played it, and everybody loved it. They're like, this is wonderful. We were thinking, it's going to come out in a month or so. It's been a year, and it's still not out. So we don't know what's going on. And nobody tells me. So I don't know. If you keep asking me, I don't know. But we're really looking forward to that. And the rebuild has been great because, wow, I mean, they did a great job. I mean, I get to see it. And we did this, gosh, so long ago, and I see the new one, and I look at the graphics. I'm like, wow, that is impressive. That is amazing. And I just hope I can keep I'm much older now, and my voice is much deeper right now because of the travel and all this, but I still get to, I'm still Shinji, and I still, I hate my dad, and it's just very interesting that it's still popular. I hope 3.33 comes out very soon, because I'd love to see a real groundswell, because I know Eva is huge in Japan, huge, it's everywhere, but it's not quite that way over here. You still got Full Metal Alchemist and Dragon Ball Z and Cowboy Bebop and all those other ones that are really big. Ava's big, but it's more concentrated. You have a very tighter fan base, I think. I don't know. I could be wrong.
No, I think you're definitely right. Because it is still just kind of... Anime and everything is just really becoming big over here now, really. But I guess you've seen the industry grow. Do you think it really has spread across Europe and America now?
A popularity, yes. Absolutely. It kind of ebbs and flows. If something new comes out that's really, really big, you never know what it's going to be. And so many people kind of bank on it. They say, oh, this is going to be huge. And then it doesn't do anything. And then something out of the blue is like, oh my gosh, this is so impressive and so big and huge. And people, I don't even know anything about it. So it's interesting. The anime fan base is so awesome because they really get it, they know it, they love it, and it's really personal. When you go to the bigger conventions that are with everything, like the big Comic-Cons, it disperses everything, but there are several of those all around the world. But the anime conventions that are really focused on anime, there's so many more of them, and they're so much more intimate. Even if there's 4,000 people, but it's all on anime. It's not like, oh, there's Doctor Who and there's Stargate and Firefly and all these different things that are all around. It's like, no. We're just dealing with anime here. So everybody's kind of closer knit, which I think is very cool. And I love all of them. I think all the cons are really wonderful, but anime cons, they just get in there and you just really get a chance to spend time together, and the people seem to know each other, a little bit tighter knit.
You've done quite a range of characters, all the way to Peter Rabbit, I believe.
Well, I'm not Peter Rabbit, but I am in Peter Rabbit,
Yeah.
and I do two characters in the latest Peter Rabbit at Nickelodeon out of it's BBC. I was the shrew. There was a Christmas show, and then the first season I had a couple of spots there, and then they did another season 2. I don't know if it's come out. I don't know if I can say anything about it, but hey, I'm in there. Come find me. But I'm the shrew, and it's this little angry little shrew. He's like, I'm a shrew! Yeah! I'm like a rat, only smaller. No, it's like I'm a mouse, only smaller. What was it? I'm like a... Oh, I forgot the line. I'm like a mouse, only smaller. Yeah. I'm a mouse, only smaller. And I'm also one of those squirrels. It's like... that kind of thing.
But with all this range, who would you actually pick in particular is your favorite character to portray?
That I've already done?
Yeah.
There's many, but I always fall back on Papillon from Buso Rinken. He is so bizarre. If you haven't seen the show, it's really wonderful. This kind of crazy guy. He's like a very... I think he was a scientist, and something happens, and he gets kind of messed up, and then he becomes this homunculus who can eat people through his hands, but he roams around in skin-tight... I don't know, it's just like a skin-tight leotard with lace up front, and he pulls out a butterfly mask and wears that and calls himself Papillon. And he's crazy, and I love it because his voice is very deep, and he says things like, I know, I'll have a burger, that sounds good. Ooh, fries too, yummy. And he's just got this weird thing, and then he'll eat you. And it's just bizarre. But it's funny because he's very close to another character I really enjoyed playing on Bravely Default, which is Ring a Bell. And he's one of the leads in that. And I took a little bit from Papillon. Same thing, not quite that weirdness, but he's also foppish. But he's also a ladies' man for him. And I kind of physicalize it a little different. He's like, he'd say, oh, where are the ladies? Oh, I love the ladies. Excellent. And it's very, very similar, but it's got a little bit of tweak to it. And he won't eat you through his hands. I think that's a key. That's a key. It's a good thing. I love those two, but I play a lot of psychos. So when people say, oh, he plays effeminate little girly boys who save the world in a biomechanical freaking robot again, and it's like, well, you really don't know what I've done. Because the ones that they know about that, it's like, well, there's Bleach and Nadesco and Evangelion and a few others like
Blake, that. Another 12-year-old
Well,
boy.
yeah, but he's, Mitch is cool. He's fine.
Well, it's a different type of animation.
Yeah. But it's like, when then you go to the Psychos, and I haven't played a lot of Psychos recently, I don't think. Oh, Blaze Blue. I play Arachne or Aracune. It's so fun. They've told me how to say it twice. They said sometimes they say Arachne, sometimes they say Aracune. I say, where's my check? I'll say whatever you want me to say. But he's the creepy one in Blaze Blue who looks like a ghost / skeleton / spider / bowling ball, which is very bizarre. And he talks in a way where he drops his sentences. So if he's going to say, I'm going to go to the store, he'd be, I'm going to the store. That kind of stuff. And it's just bizarre. You're like, what is this guy saying? But he fights, and it's video game. And it's crazy.
He kind of looks like Jack in The Nightmare Before Christmas, but with like
bit.
a long robe.
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah, it's very interesting. It's very bizarre. But I love it all. I mean, it's all fun to do. But I have a special place for psychos.
If you were both to pick, say, one character that best represents you, who would it be?
Belle.
Done. Belle from Beauty and the Beast.
I always have a book in my hands, and I played that role when I was 5.
Come on.
For 2 weeks. What?
Tale as old as time. Come on, say it. Come on. You know you want to.
No, you need to.
You sing it all the time.
You need to dance with me, you beast.
Well, no, she is all about that.
I love Disney princesses.
What was it? Oh, in Italy on our honeymoon, part une, she was, what was it? Little town.
What a quiet feeling.
That's it. I filmed her walking down the Italian, it's a little bitty Italian place in Monalia, and she was singing Little Town.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
In my exercise outfit.
Yeah, that was fun. She's also a Pilates instructor, so she keeps me fit. I don't know. I really don't know who would. I don't know. I get asked that question. I should have one, but I don't know. It's not something that I've done.
I think you'd take anything on South Park, Family Guy, or The Simpsons.
Well, yeah, but I think what he's asking is, what would be like. Are you talking about what would be the embodiment of who I am in an anime character?
Anime anything? Yeah.
I think American Dad for me. All right, well, no, but I'm all over South Park. I love it, but I'm not like Cartman.
Nice kid. I'm totally not like him.
You love your chicken pot pie, though.
That sounds pretty good. I'm not fat, I'm Big Ben.
Anyway, I don't know. Gosh. Yeah, I'm out.
Since just after what you've just done, since voice acting is such a big part of your life, do the voices just spontaneously come out every now and then? Or?
Oh, yeah. We're always learning. All voiceover guys, you'll talk to them, they'll come out with these characters and they go, oh, where did that come from? And I got to remember that character. And they'll record it or whatever. And I should be more diligent because I come up with stuff all the time. And like, that's great. I'll remember that. I never remember that.
Well, it's the best thing. I feel like I married a polygamist and I didn't even tell him. Because he comes out with different voices. I'm like, who is that? Like, he's done several spots for Jason Statham's type of voice. He does that as well as 12-year-old boys. So
yeah,
sometimes I don't know who I'm married to.
It's actually quite a big difference.
Yeah, it's a little creepy. But it's fun, I don't know. It's like anything else. I'm an actor first and foremost, so I think about things in a different way. I see something, I'm like, oh, you can make a voice out of colors. You can make a voice out of textures. I have a dear friend of mine who's done tons of stuff, and he tells me, I hear colors. And I'm like, I get that. Because I can hear something, I'm thinking, okay, this is the voice for that color, this is the voice for that, this is the voice for that. And that's kind of what we have to do that people don't realize. When we go into audition, we'll audition for 10 things. And sometimes we'll get a role, and then we'll go, awesome, I got a role, I'm going to go work. What are you doing? I don't know. And you show up, and you go, what am I doing? And they said, here's the character. I don't remember what voice I gave that character. And they go, here we go, we'll play it back. They play it back, 2 or 3 lines, and you go, okay, I got it. Okay, here's the scene. All right, go. That's how fast it works. And you're like, you better be on your game. And so you just kind of have to know how to use your voice as an instrument. And that's another great voice guy I know in L.A. He said, look, we are sound effects. We do what the director tells us to do. And that's it. That's our job. Do that the best way we can. And eventually, sometimes it works out great where you get, people happen to be stars and fantastic stuff. And that's great. That's the holy grail. Family Guy, Simpsons, South Park, those kind of things where you get these iconic characters, Scooby-Doo, people, you do a voice, everybody knows that's the voice, right? Oh, that's Scooby-Doo. I know that. That's Scooby-freaking-Doo. Everybody knows that. But until you get to that point, it's like, well, you're good. You do your thing, and then hopefully someday you'll get the big, that one role that just stands out. It's like anything else. It's like any business in the world. And that's what we're all looking for. So,
say you're doing a dramatic or an emotional scene. How do you how do you go about portraying that? Like, how do you build up that character and that moment?
Well, it's one of those things. I always go back to Shinji on this because when I got Shinji, I didn't know. It was just another acting role for me. I wasn't really technically advanced in the world of voice acting. I mean, there's a lot of different things now. Doing it for so long, there's little tweaks and little things you can do. But back then, it was full on. It was just an acting role. And I am not like that character at all. In fact, we were just in Digicon with Matt Greenfield and Tiffany Grant. And Matt directed me back then. And Tiffany is Asuka. And when we did that, it was really, he says that's why I got the role. Because it was such an acting role. Because it was not like me at all. And he knew that. So that I was going deep into a character and I was really, getting it. So when I'm in the booth, as much as you can move around, sometimes you really can't. But if you're doing it right, you're emoting. If he's crying and screaming, I'm crying and screaming. If he's on fire, I'm not on fire. I'm just saying. But I'm trying. It hurts and I'm screaming.
Like
I feel like I'm on fire. But I try to get into it as much as I possibly can. So, and it's interesting because sometimes it's like, you're being watched the whole time. There's a big window and the directors and producers are on the other side watching you. You're in the mic, and sometimes you got to go, I would feel better if I could just close the curtains here so that I could just be alone and do this character. And they're like, absolutely, go right ahead. And that's when you take your pants off.
Who was it
because
that
that's
does
comfortable.
do voice acting, or it's rumored to have?
It's
do
rumored.
voice
I think
acting
I've heard
with
that Donald
his pants.
Sutherland. Yeah, Donald Sutherland has been rumored that when he does voiceover acting, he just takes his pants off. I don't know if that's true or not, but I love it. I think it's hysterical.
You do it in your home or something.
We have a studio in our apartment in L.A. and it's done in pajama pants, and I got slippers. I got a pair of Homer Simpson slippers that I'll have on my feet, big old cushy ones, and that's it. I mean, that's the beauty of voice acting. You can do it just relaxed, and it's fun. So,
what would you say have been the biggest changes in the anime industry over the years?
The internet. Absolutely, the internet. That's the biggest change in all of our lives. When we did Evangelion the first time around, the technology has changed so much. When we did it, it was so much more difficult. If I did a scream and it didn't quite work out, I didn't fit it exactly right, we had to do it again. Now you can slide it back and forth so much more easy. There's like, oh, you messed, you blew out the mic, it was a little too loud. You got to tone it down so you get to scream exactly the same way you did, just about 2 decibels lower. Okay, how do I do that? I don't know. I'm about to. Then. There's just it really is just the technology. It makes it so much easier because now also we always had paper scripts. So now it's very, very simple because most stuff has the iPad or they have a big screen in front of you and there's a TV there for you. Instead of okay, we need to rewind that. We had VHS back then. So it's like, okay, we got to rewind that, play it again, play it again, play it. Oh, we got to wait, stop. So there was no beeps, nothing, because now it's like beep, beep, beep.
Back when you were doing it, since you had scripts, did you hear the of the
yeah,
page?
And sometimes you had to flip the page. Oh, we heard a page. Well, crap. Now we still use paper. A lot of times, certain places will still use paper, and that's fine. But it's just so much, the technology is so much better. It's like, oh, okay, don't worry about that. We got a little clip there. We'll just, and it's done. It's fixed. And you're like, wow. We didn't have, back in the day when I started doing this, we didn't have any of that highfalutin crap you got now. I mean, we had to actually use our talent. Yeah.
Now, you're creator of Don't Kill Your Date and Other Cooking Tips.
Yes.
Is that kind of your big thing at the moment? Is that what you're running with?
Well, yes and no. It's an interesting thing, and this is something. This is why I love going to cons still, because it all started at the cons. Don't Kill Your Date and Other Cooking Tips started a long, long time ago when I wanted to. I love cooking, and I wanted to do a cookbook for bachelors. This is before I was already into anime, but I really hadn't started doing the conventions and whatnot. So I had this idea. I love to cook. I'm going to do a cookbook for bachelors. 5 ingredients or less. Help them. It'd be awesome. I was going to call it "This Book Will Get You Laid." Well, somebody else wrote that book.
Damn it.
And then things happened in my life, and things went very, very south very quick. And bottom line, everything switched, and I had moved to L.A., and I knew 3 people. And I had to start my life over completely. And
He was previously married.
yeah, I was married, and I got a divorce, and it was really, I lost everything. And but when I got to L.A., I had to start over from the ground zero. I mean, I was at the lowest point in my life. And I said, okay, I got to do something. And I said, what do you want to do with your life? I said, I want to travel. I want to talk to people. I want to speak in front of people. And I want to enjoy my life. Next thing I knew, somebody's telling me, well, conventions are happening. You should check them out. I said, okay. And then I realized I found out I was famous in, a small area. But I was famous in a way. And I was like, wow, I'll talk to them. I come out to a convention, I'll say hi, and so on. Come out, yes, we'll fly you out. I'm like, holy crap, people will fly me out and put me up in hotels. I mean, wow, this is amazing. So I started going, and it was a lot of fun. But I started. People were doing panels. I'm like, what are these panels? I don't know. What am I talking about? So I saw that, and I said, okay, there is an opportunity. I can tell stories, I can write books, I can do things. And so I wrote What Happens at the Con Stays at the Con, Stories from the Seamy Underbelly of Anime Conventions and More, Volume 1, turned it into an audio CD and a panel, which I'm doing tonight. And so I do that panel, and it's a lot of fun. It's about crazy things that happen at conventions, and I turn them into short stories. And then I went ahead and narrated it. So I put it on the audio CD, and there you go.
I got to know him very quickly because he gave me that CD when we first started dating.
I want to say it scared the crap out of her, but she's still here.
And I married him. So.
That's right. Well, and then I did How to Be a Frickin' Genius Voice Actor, Step 1, because everybody kept asking me the same questions. And I was like, you know what? Let me put in a CD. When you ask me the question, buy the CD. This will help you. It will walk you through all those questions you have. And did it on audio CD as well. And it works. So I sell those at conventions. And it's awesome. But they're also a panel. So I was like, okay, I've got this panel, that panel. And I started seeing, being single and dating in the con scene and meeting all these beautiful women and all over these places. I was like, this is an opportunity. Because I was watching guys tell other guys at these conventions stuff to do. And I was training in all this stuff. I had already been married and everything, but I was training with, all of the pickup artists and the dating and relationship and psychology and all that. I was studying everything I could because I had to get back into the dating world. So,
well, especially because you've been out of it for 13 years.
Yeah, I was a little rusty. So I said, well, all right, if I'm going to get out there, I got to figure this out. So I started really training and really learning. And, you have good times, you have bad times, it doesn't matter. But I saw people telling guys what to do at these cons, like how to talk to girls, come on here, con dating, blah, blah, blah. And I watched them, I was like, this is horrible, guys. I don't know what you're telling these people. You're not telling these guys to be men. And so I started my panel. And it has evolved into Don't Kill Your Date and Other Cooking Tips. And now it's a whole thing. I'm one of the a dating expert for Singles Warehouse UK. I've written for Neil Strauss, who wrote The Game. I've written for Carlos Zuma. Was in USA Today, Men's Health,
and recently in Your Tango with me.
Yeah, we both got a spot in Your Tango. So it's happening. I'm working on a book right now called Food Game: The Ultimate Recipe for Dating Success. Because everything I do is I help guys become better men, capital MEN, utilizing food, travel, and adventure as the medium. So when I tell you, here's a recipe to make on a date, and this is Barcelona bread. Why do I know that? Because I was in Barcelona, and I was eating this bread, and I dated this girl. She was Canadian, and here's all this stuff. Here's how you do it. Here's how you meet them. Here's how you talk. Here's all this stuff. It's like ammunition for guys to be better men,
But
so
it's
that
not
women will
playing
look
a
at them and
game.
go, yeah, it's not a game. I mean, life is a game, but if you think about it, instead of saying, oh, here's what you say to pick up a woman, why do that? Why say a damn thing? Just become awesome. And that's my goal. Help these guys become awesome so that they can just be. And women will like them, and because they'll treat women correctly. And everybody just loves everybody. It's fantastic.
If you were to pick just one tip, what would you pick to be the one to becoming a better man?
One tip to becoming a better man. Honey, which one do you think I should go with? The 3 words or?
Well, the 3 words are a big one. I think, though, it depends on where you are. Because if you're starting out in the dating world and you're not quite confident, the cookie analogy is one of the best ones as to
Kaizen.
being able to take rejection from a woman and not take it personally.
Yeah.
Because that was something that I learned from you that I didn't know. Because back in my single days, when I turned down men at bars, I didn't know that it actually physically causes men pain. There are sensors that go off in a man's brain when you reject him that actually physically cause a small amount of pain.
It fires off the same neurons in the brain as pain. Rejection does the same thing in a man's brain. And cookie analogy? Let's go.
Well, I think the cookie analogy, it's great because it also combines the cooking
I know.
with the man concept.
All right, I'll try to hone it down real fast. I call it the cookie analogy because depending on who you are, let's say you're a type of cookie, all right? When you go up to a girl and she says, no thanks, whatever, go away, it may or may not be because of you. 9 times out of 10, it's not you at all. It's because you can be the hottest guy, you can be Brad Pitt, and you can walk up to a woman, and she will look at you. Sometimes she will look at you and go, no, I'm not interested. Thank you. To Brad Pitt. Now imagine that for a second. Now why would somebody do that? Because Brad Pitt is not her type of cookie. Let's say she is a woman who likes dark chocolate with cranberry, whatever, and nuts type of cookie. That's her cookie. Excellent. You walk up, you're a snickerdoodle. You're not her type of cookie. It doesn't matter what you are. You're never going to be a dark chocolate, cranberry, nut-filled cookie. That's not your thing. That's not who you are. You're a snickerdoodle. Chill out, man. Be the best damn snickerdoodle you can be.
Yeah, man.
Doesn't matter. You're still a yummy, damn fine, tasty cookie. It doesn't mean that you're any worth any less or whatever. It doesn't matter. Everybody's got their type of cookie. So when you go up to somebody, you go, hey, you know what? I hope you find your cookie. And walk off and have a good time. Doesn't matter. And I get into much more depth and detail about it, but think about that. Because when somebody looks at you and goes, look, I'm not interested, there's so many reasons why they're not. And it's fine. There's no reason to get upset about it. Go, hey, hope you find your cookie. I'm going to go find mine. Hey, look, I bet she likes snickerdoodles. I'm a good snickerdoodle. Hello, darling. How are you? And if she does, great. It's fantastic. But it's just a real quick, easy way to tell people to, chill the hell out. Relax with who you are. That's it.
And be confident in who you
And be confident. Be a good snickerdoodle.
What kind of cookie are you?
are. Oh, boy.
What do we get into? I haven't really defined it completely yet, but I think it was double chocolate chip with raisins.
Nuts.
Total macadamia nuts, pecans, some sparkles, thanks to you, and gold flakes, baby. Gold flakes. Yeah, soaked in rum. All right.
So, since you're in Ireland, are there any Irish dishes you'd consider would be good?
Oh, dear Lord. St. Paddy's Day is my favorite. I throw St. Paddy's. I'm Irish, so I'm like, I throw a St. Paddy's Day and I cook, obviously. So I do a Guinness beef Irish stew. I make cold cannon. I do soda bread. What was the other?
But it all starts out first with a good Irish breakfast.
Oh, have
Meaty breakfast. He promised me, he's like, I am going to have that breakfast every single day when I'm in Ireland because it's the best damn breakfast on the face of the planet.
It is truly. Every time I'm here, every day, I'm having that. It's the white and black pudding. That's what just makes it.
Can you not get that?
No, you can get it at one small, tiny little Irish market in Hollywood.
Yeah, I know where it is. They know me. And I go, and you can get everything proper. I mean, really good stuff. And so I'll have that. But I'm missing a couple of dishes that I usually make. I'm cold cannon, Irish stew. Corned beef and cabbage, of course. I do that.
And he'll buy several corned beef and save them. And he'll freeze
tear it
them.
up.
That's one of his best tips for guys too. Is freeze a lot of your stuff. Make a huge batch of something. Freeze half of it, so just in case you have her over again in like a month or so, and you have another date over, you can pull out one batch and cook it up, just in case something goes wrong with the dish that you're planning on making in the first place.
Yeah, my stuff is so easy as far as that goes. My stuff is so easy. It's like 5 ingredients, just throw it. It's incredibly ridiculous. What was there was one other dish I'm trying to think of. I don't make boxties. I love boxties, but she's gluten intolerant, so I don't really make the boxties now.
Yeah.
And Powers Irish whiskey. That's
And Guinness.
that's good.
And
Guinness. Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Would you say there's a difference in the taste of Guinness?
This is the argument people give all the time. Now I had some Guinness over in Edinburgh, and I was like, that tastes a little different, but I haven't had it here yet.
Okay.
I've just got here. We drink so much red wine now. We, from Italy for a month and all that. We've been drinking red wine for a long time. I got off of beer a while back, but I'm here, so absolutely. But I don't know. I honestly don't know. I've heard people say that, that they don't change it, that it's not changed at all. Although I do know the difference between the old bottles and the bottles with the nitrogen, whatever it is, where it's like keeps it fizzy. Those are fantastic. The old ones that are super bitter, not a fan of those bad boys. Not even. But I love it on tap and just glorious. Yes.
If there was one dish you'd say, do not cook on a first date, what would it be?
Something that would kill her.
Yeah, something that would kill her. Well, that's that. The whole idea for the title was I was dating a girl a long time ago, back in college, and I was just starting out, and I was like, I'm gonna cook for her and make this stuff. I forgot what I made, but it was simple and it was tasty and like baked chicken kind of thing. Not anywhere near as good as I make now. Believe me.
No, he converted me to being a chicken lover. I used to hate chicken.
Oh, I got a recipe. Amazing. Anyway, so I made this meal, and she was eating, and she suddenly just had this look on her face. Eyes got all big, and her hand went up to her mouth, and she's like, ooh. And I was like, what? What happened? What's going on? She goes, are there peas in this? I'm like, no, I don't think so. Why? Are there any nuts or almonds? Or I don't know. I don't think so. And so she goes, and I look at all of the recipes. I'm like, no, we're fine. And she's like, oh, I'm deathly allergic. That would have been a little information I could have used before I cooked for you, you genius.
Because nothing kills a date faster than death.
That's true. That is true. So, yeah, as far as that goes, that's I would say that I always tell, I have a joke that I say, it's not about the food you cook, but there's sometimes you're like, well, what's a fun date? And I say a really fun date is, you remember when you were a kid and you made forts in the living room with pillows and sheets and all that fun stuff? I say do that on a date sometime. Surprise your date with that. Build a thing and you watch a movie and you pop some popcorn and you have a great time. So she walks in and there's this awesome fort and she just loves it. But don't do it on a first date, because she'll look in there and she'll be like, oh, this is where I'm going to die. Fantastic.
Though we recently learned in the UK that most women will not go over to a man's house on the first date. Now, I will say that was me initially. And Spike was the first man that I ever went over to his house on a first date. And I had my safety call. 20 minutes in, I had my dad give me a call, and I was...
Oh, it was your dad.
It was my dad. Yeah.
Oh, wow. I thought it was like Lauren or
No,
something.
it was my dad.
That's awesome.
And he was like, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yes, I'm fine." But I had my safety call. But it was amazing because the night that we met, he started talking about this dish that he was going to make, and it was cassoulet with the polenta, because he found out I was gluten intolerant, so I couldn't have anything with bread in it or anything like that. And so he found out what I was allergic to, and then he started describing these dishes, and they started to sound so good. I was like, this sounds better than a restaurant. And what's also great about Food Game and that aspect of what he teaches is when you go to a restaurant, it's loud, it's noisy. I know a lot of girls that, including myself at some times back when I was single, they'll go out with the guy just because they want to try a new restaurant. Just because, there might be something that might not work out, but you go out just to test the waters.
And it's free lobster.
Exactly. It's the free meal sort of date. And I know many women that have done that. And what's great about Food Game is once they're over at your house, they're obviously already interested in you. And when you're cooking and you're letting her be involved with the cooking process, and I remember when we first came over, he came and he gave me a taste of what he was cooking. I was like, oh, it's really good. And he was very gracious, and he poured me a glass of wine, and his apartment was clean, and it had candles. I was like, this guy put some effort into it. And it's showing your dates that you're putting effort. You're putting thought into it and the mood of the whole ambiance. And it wasn't any pressure to, go into the bedroom or anything like that, because he didn't put that expectation on it. And that's another part in the book that he talks about, is expectation. But it was just to sit down and have a nice time and get to know me, and I would get to know him. And we ended up talking for like 7 hours, into the wee morning hours. And then
yeah, I know. And guys all over go, oh, you were talking. Oh, they just tuned out right there.
Oh no, but that's what we did. Yeah,
I know. And that's I tell guys, it's like, if we're talking about dating stuff, it's like, just listen, relax, take away the expectation, and have a good night. As far as that goes, and as far as food goes, as soon as it comes out, buy my book, because it's easy recipes, and I put it all together exactly. This is the thing about this book is this is exactly what I did over the course of 7 years to build myself up from nothing to having dates with many, many beautiful women, and some long-term relationships in there as well. But I had great success in so many ways. A lot of failures, sure. I'll even talk about those as well, because I learned so much from them, which is a quick thing. There's never a failure if you learn something from it. It's not a failure. It's a lesson. And you learn that, and you move on, and you get better with those kind of things. And I think that's the important part of that aspect of it. But I think we've lost every anime person at this point in time.
Well, it's not all what you're about.
No, not at all. I mean, this is part of what I do. This is what I'm doing here at Akumakon. Yeah. I'm doing my 3 panels. I'm doing What Happens at the Con. I'm doing How to Be a Freaking Genius Voice Actor. And tomorrow night,
Don't kill your
date.
But what's awesome is that at some of these anime cons, people and couples have come up to him and said, dude, you saved my marriage. And they really get into it, and they start asking questions, especially one of my favorite. We were in OhioCon in Columbus, Ohio. And this young kid was asking, he was in a very serious relationship with his girlfriend, and he was asking, how do you make, I can't afford to have Cornish game hen and fancy sausages and all this. How can I make a very impressive date that's cheap? And Spike went into this amazing way to make cup of noodles into a fabulous gourmet dish, and setting the ambiance and setting the mood and spicing up the dish. It was wonderful, and it gave young kids an opportunity to date in this way where it shows a lot more attention and care, and also not spend a fortune on taking a woman out for $100 meal, because dating can be expensive.
Oh, for college kids, this is, I swear, I went to college. I know this stuff. I know you've got nothing. You're just like, everything's going towards books. Everything's going towards whatever. And you're like, I got to figure something out. And you just have to be creative. But it's really about the knowledge of what food goes with what. I can go in anybody's pantry, and I can make something. I don't know what, but I can make something. I can figure it out. Your parents...
I I was about to
Maybe
say,
not. That's going to be
except for your in-laws.
except for my in-laws. That's going to be difficult. Let me tell you. I'd take a picture of that and go, "What the hell?" But I
There's
come
no
up
way
with
to
something.
even Iron Chef it.
I would find a way. But anybody can. It's just simple knowledge. And if you're in college, it's all about knowledge anyway. Why not, along the way of whatever it is you're studying, learn a little bit about life? You know, what do you really want when you're in college? You want to party. You want to learn some stuff. But you want to date. That's the thing. I know. I was there. It's like, it's all about, yeah, I'm doing all my studies and everything, but where are we partying tonight? Tonight, we're going to have drinks and we're going to meet some girls. You know, we're going to do all that stuff.
What women am I going out with?
Yeah, who am I going to go out with? Who am I going to meet? Well, you know, it's all about that. I get that. Well, why not, instead of worrying about all that stuff, why don't you worry about becoming the better man that is the kind of guy that the women are looking for anyway? I have another course that I'm working on. It's called the 10 Man Steps to Confidence, becoming the man that every woman wants. And that's the key to it. And it's not about being, oh, I'm this cool, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm the goofiest bastard so many people know.
He's very silly.
I'm silly. And it's fun. You know, people make it so difficult and angry. And it's like, oh, I've got to get that. You know, you don't have to do crap. You can have fun, live life, and people will be magnetized to you, man. Just go out and have a good time, adventure, food, travel, live life. And you're a magnet. You know, it's just fun. It's just have fun. That's what it's all about.
One of the best pieces of advice that I love is, especially because we travel, we've gotten a chance to see a lot more of the world because of these conventions. But one of the great things is that he says in Don't Kill Your Date is even if you're in a tiny little town within a 10-mile radius, there are Groupons, there are living social deals, there are stuff for free, like a walk in the park or a walk along the beach, that are beautiful, amazing experiences that are much more valuable than a $100 lobster dinner.
True. Anyway.
Or a £100 euro.
100 whatever.
Euro. We're in Euro country.
It's a 100-pound lobster. It's huge. We're going to take a week eating it. It's fun. It's a destination date, honey. We'll start in the morning and start chewing.
Hope you have a lot of butter.
I need some butter.
Along with your book, the DreamWorks and the Nickelodeon stuff that's coming out, are there any other projects you've got lined up for 2015?
Hopefully Evangelion 333.
Yeah, Ava 3.33. We're hoping that comes out. You know, we never know. You never know what's going to be next.
But we do have some amazing cons lined up in the state. We're hoping to get out more internationally toward the end of the year, but
Absolutely.
we have some great cons lined up for the States.
I just did something new. I went through and got images of all my characters, every one of them that I could possibly find. And some of them are very hard to get, and they're not really that good. But I put a little slideshow together on my iPad. And so I was going through that, and I forgot I had done something, Lego Ultra Agents, a video game. And I'm Retox in that. So I have a Lego character that I voiced, and I'm just so happy about that. I just want to tell all of you that I have a Lego. It's just awesome. Which is odd because I was actually the voice for the...
Everything is awesome.
I was actually the voice for a while for the Lego Master Builders Academy. So, you know, some young kids know I'm like, hi, this is welcome to Lego Master Builders Academy, where you're going to build all kinds of wonderful things. You know, and I did that for my friend, Amanda, actually. One of the kids that was friends with her son, she was like, you did that. Hold on a second. She brought this kid over and go, he's the voice for Lego Master Builders Academy. And the kid looked at me and I went, hi, how you doing? I said it, and he just went, ah! Freaked out. It was kind of awesome. But that's, as far as things coming out, that's really all we're working on right now. I'm hoping to have a lot more coming in, but you never know. We're hoping that we hear that Get Blake is awesome, and everybody loves it, and we've got a second season, and that's what we're expecting.
We're very excited for the release of that because it's incredibly funny, like I said, and I haven't been a cartoon person for a while, but that one made me laugh a lot, and it made my girlfriends laugh too. So it's a fun one for all.
Excellent. Yeah.
Good one to watch on a date, huh?
There you go.
So if anyone out there would like to find out more about what you guys have been up to or see any of your work, where can we do that?
Well, you can find me at spikespencer.com. My fan site is almostevilminions.com. And you can also find the dating, etc. at don'tkillyourdate.com or catch me at singleswarehouse.co.uk. Possibly writing for other places, but we'll let everything for that will go through don'tkillyourdate.com. And my lovely wife, Kimberly Spencer, has...
I'm at fitnesswithkim.com, and I'm going to be launching my YouTube site with the morning stretch videos, all about how to increase your mornings into high, kick-ass, productive fitness gear. And I'm very excited, though, about the Don't Kill Your Date site because his site offers a weekly hump day hookup on Wednesdays.
Forgot about that.
And on Wednesdays, he sends out information on the latest articles, new recipes. So be sure to sign up if you're interested for don'tkillyourdate.com. And if you're interested in fitness, you can sign up at fitnesswithkim.com. And if you're interested in just learning more about Spike and what he's doing in the con world and what his latest anime and video game releases are, almostevilminions.com is where you want to sign up for that.
Yes.
All right, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to the two of you.
Thank you.
Best of luck with your honeymoon part 2 and your trip around Ireland.
It's going to be fantastic. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ireland.
Thanks, Ireland.